What is going on, people? This is the start of part 2. I hope you can all enjoy this finale, and I thank you for your support for part 1. I hope you all enjoyed it. I know it was just based on a training video, but that was a big hint for part 2. So let's head straight to part 2, and I hope you all enjoy. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and thank you all once again. Say bye. Hello people, and welcome back to this channel. I am with an IFBB Pro, James Johal. Is that how you pronounce it?
Well, it's Jamie, but I'll let you call me James for today if you want.
Privilege. So he's also known as the AKA the Giant, of course. So I'm here today with him just to ask him a few questions and just to open up your eyes on the industry and what it's like to be in his shoes. So the first question, I'm just going to go straight into it. I'm going to blast you with a question. How did you start off? How did you begin? How did your journey start, and what made you want to become a bodybuilder?
So I was very keen on playing football at school.
Okay.
Athletics was very prominent as well. I was a good shot putter, believe it or not. I played defence at football when I got into it more and more. I did start as a left wing, but getting taller, the speed suffered a little bit. So I was shoved in the centre back position, obviously for all the headers and stuff. Really, that took me up to when I left school. And then when we joined sixth form, a good friend of mine started training. Both joined the gym together. And I remember the first kind of thing, my first goal inside the gym, we all had these little in-gym goals. I saw someone flat benching the 20 kilogram dumbbells one day. And I just looked at it and I was like, wow, that is strong. Thinking back now, obviously 20 kilos is absolutely nothing, but that was my first thing I remember about what I saw in the gym as being like kind of a special thing and a good memory. The actual gym itself, what got me into it before the friend joined the gym, was I grew up around my uncle. He was a very good bodybuilder, competed, trained at a gym called Muscle Training Stapleford, which is a gym not too far away from here. And that's the first gym I trained at. That was very much an old school vibe, as my gym is Ilkeston Gym, on a smaller scale in terms of size. So growing up in that environment and seeing my uncle, I remember one day in his house, pre-contest, probably a week out, he came down the stairs in his bodybuilding thong. And I'm about 12 years old, thinking, what's this guy on? My uncle's come down the stairs, me and my mum were here, so his sister, and he's knocking out some poses, saying, what do you think? It's all alien to me. I didn't understand bodybuilding at the time, but I looked at his physique and I thought, that's incredible. So that led on to having a general interest in the gym, general interest in bodybuilding, started training with my friend. I remember getting a weight set in my conservatory when I was 16 years old, and just pretty much pumping out weights every night.
Is it the sort that you used to get from Argos, where it's in the grey box?
Yeah, it was exactly that, the old York grey bar with the gold kind of sand-filled weights.
Yeah, that's what I had, that's how I started too.
There we go. I think unless you had one of them, you can't class yourself to serious bodybuilding.
No, of course you can't.
And that's where it all started. I watched the same things, pumping iron, Arnie, all your usual stuff that we all say when you ask what did you get in bodybuilding. But my uncle, and my friend, really, my best friend at the time. And then getting some big guns for the girls, getting the vests on at the summer, started feeling a bit better about yourself. Started seeing people around you go to the gym, and it's like a mini competition as well. Who can be the biggest? He's younger than me, he's got bigger arms, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah,
so,
no, I get that.
That's it, yeah, there's many things.
That is a good story though, to be honest with you. So, reading off what you've just told me, so when was it you realised that you wanted to do it competitively? When did you know you wanted to step on the stage yourself?
So that was 2009.
Right.
So, let's try and work out how old I was then. So I was about 23, 24. And at that time, I was completely natural.
Right.
Not taking anything. And this is something I try and get across to the young kids of today getting into the sport, is it really is, when you're thinking about things that are required to get to a certain level,
right.
Initially that is the last thing you should be thinking about. Nutrition, training, sleep, rest, stress. There's so many things that go into building muscle that I find nowadays the youth of today are jumping forward 5 steps.
Yeah.
And going straight for the bottle of whatever the guy in the gym told us to take.
Yeah.
So a big thing I try and do is educate the youngsters that really that is the last thing. Build a solid base, and that's the icing on the cake. So in 2009 was when I first competed. In 2008, the gym that I was speaking about earlier, Muscle Tone, had the first, we'll call it the annual Muscle Tone Classic.
Right, okay.
So it was the gym show, only people that train in the gym could compete in it. So
Right.
it's kind of it set a nice competitive atmosphere within the gym
That's good.
amongst the members, and we all had it out on the day at a local pub. So I went and watched in 2008. I don't think I was training at the gym at that time, so I didn't even know that the contest was going off until last minute. I thought, I'll go down and watch, and I loved it. Just the whole atmosphere, the whole camaraderie, the competitiveness. I thought, I'm gonna do that next year. So I went back in 2009 and did it, trained at the gym for the whole year. Looked amazing. I think I was 14 stone at the time when I stepped on stage, but I didn't place anywhere. Sometimes, and take this forward as well, sometimes a loss is the best thing that can ever happen to you.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because that will determine your character and determine your future from that loss. You've got 2 decisions. Give up or fight, come back and win. And I did the latter. I came back the year after and won. And that's when I really started competing properly. I went then from the local show to the UKBFF. Competed in the UKBFF in 2011, 2012. Had 2 years off, came back in 2015 and won the British title. So that was really when I was, in terms of levels of seriousness, in 2015 that was a big turning point again, because I was a British champion and I was like, wow, we can actually take this somewhere. It's now gone from a hobby to maybe potentially a career.
Right.
And that's it, that's where it all started.
Wow. I totally agree with what you're saying on the term of where if you compete and you lose, that does define who you are. If you're willing to go straight for the win afterwards and just building yourself back up, because that's the way I look at it now. I don't plan on competing anytime soon, but I eventually do want to compete, and I've always said in my head, this is just from a mentality, that I don't mind if I win or lose. I know obviously you go on there to place where you want to place, but if I become right at the bottom, that's fine, because like you say, then you improve, you come back bigger and stronger.
Definitely.
And you basically work as hard as you can.
Yeah.
So I'm totally with that. So stepping away from that limelight for a second, this gym itself, did you own that from a young age, or did you buy this off somebody, or is this your own from the ground up?
No, I own the gym,
Right.
the gym business within this building.
Right.
So I pay a lease to have this gym inside this building.
Right.
This gym's been here about 30 years.
Okay.
I was in the fire service until 2017. At that point, from 2015 to 2017 is when I started taking things very, very seriously.
Right.
And everything else other than bodybuilding was second best
Okay.
and took a back seat. So as a fireman, getting a decent wage, as some people would consider a very good job, but for me it wasn't enough. So everything I did at work was for bodybuilding. Food timing, training, nothing changed. The fact that I was at work didn't matter to me, the bodybuilding mattered. So if I was going to a fire call, I'd go on the truck, I'd get ready and I'd eat my meal. The meal was more important than the job. In 2017 I was lucky enough to be offered to buy the gym, and it was just a no-brainer. Over the past 5 years, I've learned more and more about how to manage yourself, your outlook on life, business, personalities. And one thing I would say to people is, I think anything's possible. You've just got to make things happen for yourself.
Yeah.
Opportunities are going to come, but only if you're active in your pursuit to where you want to go. A lot of people just sit back, they wait for things to happen. And if you're one of those people, they're never going to happen. And that's why people say opportunities pass you by. They don't pass you by, you just don't make them happen. So in 2017 I had the choice to leave a good job, a good solid pay, good holidays, time off, sick pay, etc. to be self-employed for the first time ever, buy my own business, run my own gym, and pretty much take it from a 20-member gym to a 300-member gym in the first year. And as I said, it was a no-brainer because I just saw bodybuilding, lifestyle, now we can do it 24/7.
Yeah, of course.
And that's it.
Did that risk itself, when you decided to leave your past career for this future one, did you sit there and think, wow, should I do this, should I not? Because I've been in the same situation, obviously not like this, but from leaving one career to another, and there was a lot of benefits, but the benefits are in the future.
Yeah.
So it's the grind out of that. So that risk itself, sitting there going, right, do I do this, do I not? Was that a very hard decision to make, or did you just go, right, I'm doing this?
Yeah, I don't think it was a very hard decision to make at all. I'm very forward thinking.
Right.
And I think if you believe so much that it's going to succeed, you ain't going to fail. And that's just how I looked at it. I think if you go into something with doubts, you doubt yourself, you doubt the business, then negativity will creep in. And that's when people fail. So I just never look back.
No,
and the people in the fire service called me mad. But who's the mad one now? And I don't want to bring money into it, but earning a lot more money than they do in the same position that they're still in. And I do something I love doing.
So, for sure.
Yeah.
No, it's one of them risks though, isn't it, where for me as well at this point, money doesn't necessarily matter. As long as I can pay my bills, that's fine. But it's about happiness as well.
Yeah.
And like you say, you enjoyed the fire service whilst you've done it, but that wasn't your overall career, was it?
No, definitely not.
So moving on from that, the next question I'm going to ask is, now you're a sponsored athlete, so I want you to just tell the people that are watching this video, is it a good thing or a bad thing, and why, and basically just self-explanatory to what your experiences are.
Okay. Well, obviously, if you don't know, I'm trained by JP Athlete, Jordan and Corin, look after me very well. The supplements industry is a minefield really. Over the last 10 years it's changed dramatically. From the point where athletes got paid good contracts to wear brands, promote supplements, social media has really changed everything. With the platform of social media being so large, it's just opened up the pool of athletes that are available to sponsors that are young, that look good, that will do things for free or for a discount code and still pay for the supplements. It's actually weakened the pool or weaken the pot of money, I guess, for the guys that are at the top of the game, the professional athletes that were on the big contracts that now are very few and far between. So the trained by JP athletes will get looked after in a different way in terms of sponsorship, whether it's free supplements, free clothing, monetary value as a paid sponsorship, or a mixture of all three. What I'd say to the people up and coming, the people starting out, the people looking for sponsorships, never doubt your own potential. I was one of these that I thought, if you never ask, you're never going to get it. So don't be afraid to approach companies as a sponsorship, but at the same time, I wouldn't be prepared to do anything for free. Or I definitely wouldn't be prepared to do things for a discount code and still pay for my supplements with a discounted rate. Bullshit. Excuse my French. But I think supplement companies exploit athletes these days. They exploit youngsters wanting to get into the competitive game and achieve big things. We sell them the dream, and a lot of the times you've got to think who's benefit out of that agreement more. A lot of the times it'll be the supplement companies. So a few questions to ask yourself: who's benefiting out of it more, supplement company or you? If it's not an equal agreement, I'd say don't bother. Keep going, doing what you're doing, increase your own profile, keep training hard, use your social media as a platform to expose yourself, because it's free advertising. You don't need a sponsor, you don't need a discounted rate on a supplement. You can just go and buy the shit yourself off Dolphin Fitness, quite cheap. So until you're at the point where you add value to a brand and have the bargaining tools of a few competitive wins behind you or something, or if you've got a very successful YouTube channel and great following or a big following on social media, you don't even need to compete, but you've got something to offer them, then I would just sit tight. Being sponsored is not everything. And I think being sponsored for people now, especially young people, is glamorous. But it's not as glamorous as people make out when you're at the bottom and you're not really getting anything back. That's what I would take on it.
I find a lot of people at my age, because I've had this experience, that a lot of people seem to think now, if you have the sponsored athlete on Instagram in your bio, they think that that's going to get them higher up on Instagram. So like, for example, that makes you think that, oh, soon I'll have 20k followers. It doesn't work like that, because now I was sponsored by, have you ever heard of Insane Labs?
No.
They're an American company, and it's a horror-based company, and they have one of the best pre-workouts in America called Psychotic.
Right. And
the pictures like Jason Voorhees on the actual cover, and I thought, when I seen it and they told me to DM them, I thought, oh brilliant, that's great. And I DM'd them, and we got talking, and they had a contract, and they actually emailed me a contract saying, you know, we want you to be an athlete for us, but it was one of them where, like you say, it's bullshit. Where you get a discount code, you pay for your own supplements, but at the same time I knew that they were quite a big company, so I thought, oh, okay, so me being assigned to them would help my growth. That's just stupid, it doesn't work. So yeah, I agree with that. And they got the benefit more than I did, because I said I was an Insane Labs athlete, but a discount code, there was, I think it was about 30% off. But when you think about it, it's coming from America, which isn't cheap, let alone to get it over here, and you have to just make sales for them. So in that sense, if you're my age, 23 years old or anything younger, and you want to be a sponsored athlete, it isn't worth applying for companies like that. Like Jamie said, that know your own worth and don't do anything for free like I did. That's something that I've learned now. So yeah, moving on from that whole conversation, trying to think of another good question for you really, because you've near enough answered all the decent ones. So I'm actually going to ask you one that will probably throw you off guard here. So your partner, how did you two meet?
We met on Facebook.
Okay.
Back in the day that I used Facebook. Just use Instagram now. I've not really got time to use multiple platforms of social media. I just use Instagram. But we met on Facebook. She actually messaged me in 2012 for some diet advice.
Right. Okay.
The old inbox diet advice. A way in to open up a conversation, obviously. At the time, I was prepping for a competition. I was 6 weeks out.
Right.
We got talking. She asked me out for coffee. I said no.
You said no.
I'm in prep.
Okay.
I can't do anything off plan. At that point, I was that strict. I wouldn't even go for a coffee.
Right.
And I'm in the mindset where I'm not as social as I am in the off season. I've not got the energy to really bounce off a conversation and have a laugh. So it just wasn't the right time. Fast forward 6 weeks, did the Body Power Show in 2012, won it. I think she was one of the first people I messaged after the contest, and we arranged to go out. And that's it.
Oh, wow.
7 and a bit years later,
oh my
this is where we are.
And now seeing you two on Instagram, you two amuse me so much with the stuff that you both put up on each other's stories and the things you say to each other. I just sit there and go, wow, that is gold.
Yeah, it's very, 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 very good. I'm blessed really to have a partner that believes in me for one, is passionate about me achieving my goals, and interested in the lifestyle as well, to a degree. She's nowhere near as interested as I am, but it definitely helps if you have a partner that's understanding and knows what it takes and enjoys training at the very least, because it is very hard as a competitor, or let's say a competitor's partner. It's very hard on them,
of course,
to sit by and almost watch and support and be limited because I am. So my restrictions place restrictions on her, and that's the same for any partner in this industry out there. They will all be nodding their head right now, I'm sure. It's not easy, and the people that do end up lasting and staying together a long time are few and far between. But we've made it this far, so you know it's very good, and I'm never ever thankful enough to how appreciative I am for having that support network at home, because it's definitely got me to where I am now, not just in terms of bodybuilding and stage presence and the competitive nature of it, but in business and in life and my character and everything really. She's the one that pushes me to be better. And it gives me a slap if I have any negativity or any doubts about anything. And it really is a team sport as much as you're the one person on that stage at the end.
It's insane. It's very hard to come by to find someone that understands your goals.
Yeah.
Because it's like a lot of people don't understand why you put your body through this and why you do it. And people judge me and say, why do you go to the gym? You know, you're so vain and things like that. And I say, yeah, but there's more to it than that. You don't just lift weights and look in the mirror and see how good we look. It's a constant mentality of you want to be better.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't realise. This industry, whether you're a fitness model, bodybuilder, anything to do with that, it's just something inside you that you've wanted to do, and you can banish everyone around you and you'll still do it.
Yeah. The big thing is, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something. If you're passionate about it, you'll make it happen, like I said earlier.
If anything, I'd use that as fuel. If someone was negative, I'll say, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
That's what I did in the early days. Because I was tall, they say you never fill your frame. You'll always look stringy, you'll always look unbalanced, and shorter people always beat you. Well, I've proved them wrong every year, and I'm still getting bigger now, I'm still growing, I'm still filling my frame. And when it's complete, when we're on the Olympia stage in a couple of years' time, I'll have the last laugh.
It's crazy talking about your height as well, because you're known as one of the tallest bodybuilders out there.
Yeah.
Now, bringing into mine forward on that aspect, I've met him in person just like I am now with you in the gym. And he's big, but then being next to you, you just make him look small. It is insane.
Thank you very much. don't show Martin.
So I'm going to ask you just two more questions, because I know you've got a big session ahead of you.
Yeah.
The next question is for anyone that's planning to get enhanced. I'm not going to say these specific words, but choose to go down an unnatural route. What would be your advice to them if they are going to do it no matter what?
I'm not just saying this because I'm sponsored by Jordan and Corin, but seriously, get on the site, get on Trained by JP. It's a free trial for a week. It's only $8.99 a month after that. The benefit is there's a forum section where you can ask a question and it will get answered by all the athletes. So you've got me, Jordan, Corin, Cuba, James, everyone, pros and amateurs. We've all got such an array of knowledge between us. If you're going to get the right advice, it's going to be from there, and that's it. Do not go on Google. Google will fry your brain and you will be no further forward. You'll be even more confused when you finish. Don't accept advice from someone in the gym, whether it's a friend or somebody that's been competing. Please do your research, ask people that you know have a proven track record, like the guys on the site, and you will get the right answers. I'm not going to talk about dosages now or whether you should start on orals or not. It's a big question and a broad answer, but I'm telling you the right place to go if you want the correct answer, if it's something that you're definitely going to do.
Oh, brilliant. It's near enough as simple as that, just don't listen to Google basically.
Yeah, definitely not.
The final question is, what are your future plans for the stage and for your career?
So, as you touched on earlier, I'm the tallest IFBB pro. Present and of all time, I believe. There's one person that could be taller, a guy called Ralph Moller, I believe was 6'6", 6'7". But I have been told that the 80s and 90s era was much like wrestling, as in the figures and the statistics were a little bit bent and increased to make things sound a bit more impressive. So you've got the Big Show at £500, never been £500, because £500 is a fucking big man. And the Big Show's big, but not £500. So bodybuilding of the 80s and 90s was similar to that, in the sense that the stage weights were blown up, the heights were blown up. You see Louis Ferrigno now, I think Louis is about 6'3", and he was always claimed to be 6'5". So
is it sort of just an attraction thing to make you think, wow,
exactly,
someone that big?
It's like a bit of a circus act.
Yeah.
Bigger is better. So at 6'5", I believe I am the tallest ever IFBB pro. So I'm definitely going to bring something new to the stage. If you know Patrick Morris, who competed at this year's Olympia, he created a lot of excitement. For his slightly taller physique, his shape, and his nice clean lines and condition and mass. My feeling is, if I can do what I'm doing now, I'm going to compete in April, May next year. My plan is 3 shows, the Big Man Weekend in Spain, the British in London, and then the California Pro at the end of May, and then see where things fall, see where I lie. Have a bit of a diet break, and then probably compete again later in the year. Well, I do believe I can bring a new look to the stage and something that people have been waiting for. Because the shift now is going from the mass monster, big waist, to the more classic lines. It's almost like classic class but on a bigger scale.
Yeah, of course.
Which is what people want to see. And I think that's what I'm going to bring. So I personally feel that next year it's about getting my face out there, getting my name known on a more of a global scale. The year after, I will definitely 100% qualify for the Olympia. And then the year after that, who knows? That's subject to be continued, I suppose. But the possibilities in my head are endless. I could be. Someone said to me the other day, the missus said, "Do you think you could be Mr. Olympia?" And my initial thought was no, I'm too tall. But I've been asked that question before and I said, no, I'm too tall and I've achieved something. And I said earlier on, if you're negative and you don't believe you can do something, you're never going to achieve it.
No, of course.
So the answer is yes. You have to believe it to achieve it. Flex Lewis's biggest saying, believe and achieve. And I definitely believe that I can do it. Just got to keep pushing, keep filling this frame, adding the tissue. And if I can get to 315, 320 pounds stage weight in 2-3 years, I can do Mr. Olympia. 100%.
I like the positivity, that's brilliant. So that's the end of this interview, informal chat, whatever you want to call it. I just want to thank Jamie for his time and effort for this video. And I hope it's opened all of your eyes for this, because it's opened mine. I've really enjoyed seeing it, just listening to his stories. So please like and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this. And I'll see you all very soon, and I think we're definitely going to have to do something more in the future.
Yeah, no problem.
So
happy to help.
Thank you very much.
Nice
I appreciate your time.
No worries.